You're listening to Let's Talk About It on the FlowRadioNetwork.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rhonda Sneed.
And I'm Dr. J. West.
And this is Let's Talk About It.
Before we get started, we just want to let you know a little bit about who we are. Dr. J. West, a native of Houston, Texas, married, graduate of Texas Southern University, as well as United States Navy veteran. But more importantly, I'm glad to be a father, a husband. I'm a veteran of the United States Navy. Did I already say that?
Yes, you did.
Okay, well, take it away, Dr. Sneed.
You wanted them to know twice. Well, I'm Dr. Sneed, a native of Houston also, and just excited about the opportunities that God allows us to walk in. I am a graduate of the College of Biblical Studies and Prairie View University, and what else I graduated from?
Prairie View A&M.
Yeah, Prairie View A&M and Louisiana Baptist State University.
Those Panthers would be upset with you if they found out that you forgot where you went.
Oh, I know. I'm so sorry, but Tiger Power, yeah.
Panther Power.
Panther. Oh, Tiger's a TSU, isn't it? Okay, I done just forgot everything.
So you are a Panther, right?
I am a Panther.
All right, and they should be proud of it.
I didn't forget where I came from. I just got a little tongue-tied. I'm sorry. Preview.
And ladies and gentlemen, I think this is what Let's Talk About It is going to actually bring to the table. Anybody knows more than I that it's the Panthers and the Tigers are one of the arch rivals. So we're not going to always agree on everything.
Right.
So, but
we'll agree to disagree.
Yeah.
How about that?
That sounds good to me.
We okay? Okay. So, with that said, now that you know a little bit about us and we've made a total, complete spectacle of ourselves, and that's okay because that's what life is all about. We are here tonight to deal with some serious issues.
Right.
Current events. Dr. Boyd likes current events. So, what's going on in the world today, Dr. Boyd?
Well, I think the Bible says it best when it talks about charity starting at home and then spreading abroad. Yeah. So we'll just start in Houston. One of the things that I'd like to do is congratulate our newest mayor in the person of Sylvester Turner. Congratulations to Mayor Turner.
Yes.
We're excited about all that has taken place to lead up to this point. I was a part of his first campaign that he wasn't actually fortunate enough to get elected to. And I think you say it best a lot of times, Dr. Sneed. It may not be my turn or time, but it's my turn.
It's your turn.
And a lot of times we think we have it pegged and pinned down when we feel like we should be where we need to be. But God can say not so.
God's timing is everything. And the beauty in Sylvester Turner is that he was patient. When I look at him, that's what I see. I see the word patient. And I can personally say I know him personally. Mm-hmm. My husband grew up across the street with his family, and so they grew up as neighbors. And meeting him in the 4-4. And so in meeting,
I didn't say 4-4.
The 4-4. In meeting him over 28 years ago, he's been the same. Right. And so that's what I like about and love about him, because you see him on the street, you see him in a business suit, you see him in the grocery store, you see him in the airport. I've seen him in the airport when he was, still in the office of representative, and he's always going to be the same. He's not going to shun you. He's going to speak. He's going to hug. And so I'm really excited about what Houston's about to get in this mayor and what's about to take place, and just looking for bigger and better things as we move forward. And
I guess I'm already playing devil's advocate, and we've not even gotten to the meat of the matter tonight. But one of the things that I find interesting, and I respect him for, is that he did not get bitter when the citizens of Houston failed to elect him as mayor the first time. He could have easily said, and I can't say that I would have responded in the best light, even as a pastor, when I didn't get elected the first time, but
the second time. Let's tell the whole truth.
Right, absolutely.
Or the second time,
and he didn't get bitter. He used it as fuel to motivate him to come back and keep coming back. And I think that says a lot about his Christian character, or his character as a politician, his character as a man or a person.
Right.
And so he stuck it out. at the end of the day, it was still neck and neck with. I was getting ready to say Bill White. That was a former mayor, but the candidate from Kemah,
Yes.
which that didn't make any sense to me. I'll say this, and then we can press on. To me, if you've got a person that is a representative in the state legislature, why would you want to elect somebody who has no representation in the legislature, who can't move or help decisions, or who don't have relationships with governors, with the governor, or with other state representatives, to get money channeled to a particular area of the city or the state? That doesn't make sense to me.
If we was in church, I'd say, preach, pastor, preach.
But it doesn't. It doesn't make sense to me. Just because a person is a businessman,
right?
And I understand being successful in the area of business, but you want somebody who can move and shake up some stuff.
It's kind of like the word relationships.
Okay.
So you have to have those. Sylvester has formed those relationships.
Absolutely.
And so those mean something when you form good ones, because it says to be a friend, you must first show yourself friendly. Yeah. And so we're excited about that. What else going on in what else?
I think that's enough.
Enough right there.
We want to keep in our prayers the police officer that was shot in Third Ward, as he was serving a warrant in Third Ward. He was actually ambushed by a gunshot, and he's doing well. He was released yesterday evening from the hospital, and as far as I know, the police is still looking for that particular shooter. Chief of Police has already expressed that he will search the ends of the earth to bring that culprit to justice. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with Let's Talk About It as we deal with a demon that daunts and the hearts and the souls of all people, all races, all cultures, socioeconomic backgrounds, and that demon is depression. Stay with us.
Do people tell you you'd be good on the radio? Do you have the gift of gab? Are you witty, intelligent, have a great sense of humor, or a compelling idea for a show? Whether you'd like to discuss the latest news, love and relationships, sports, politics, health, or religion, Flow Radio is the place for you. If you've dreamed of becoming a radio show host, there is no better time than right now to turn your dream into a reality. Join the Flow Radio team and share your knowledge and experiences with the world. Send your show idea and contact information to flowmedianet@yahoo.com. Perhaps your voice may change the world.
Great day. I'm Pastor Tabitha, and I'm so excited to announce that I'm joining the Flow Radio Network, and I'd love to have an opportunity to connect with you on Wednesdays, 12 noon, right here for your Wednesday Word with me, Pastor Tabitha. You tune in, tell a friend. I believe we'll all get the strength that we need to live life on purpose with power. I love you in Jesus. Looking forward to seeing you right here on Wednesdays, flowradionetwork.com. Tell a friend. Tune in. We'll see you Wednesday.
Hey! You know what time it is.
Now back You're listening to Let's Talk About It on the flowradionetwork.com.
Dear Depression, we go way back. I remember the first time I met you. I was 7 years old, a pigtailed lover of books, tees for the sneakers my mother could barely afford. The second time I met you was at a house party where a stranger packed himself into my mouth. It was the first time I understand the word ugly. We met again when I learned I had lupus and found out my body now belonged to an incurable disease. And again, when I was sad for the 49th day in a row, I begged you to go away, but you would not leave.
Hi, this is Dr. Sneed.
And this is Dr. J. West.
And you're listening to
Let's Talk About It.
So tonight we're going to deal with a subject called depression. And for a lot of people, that's something that people they're afraid to talk about it. They don't know what to say about it. And so tonight we want to really give some information, and I'd like to start first by talking about that definition of depression, because people have their own thoughts. And so we want to make sure that we give you a clinical definition of depression, which is an emotional condition characterized by feelings of continued hopelessness, gloom, dejection, sadness, and difficulty in thinking, concentration, or actions. Depression is also causes a loss of interest, hopelessness, and in some cases, thoughts of suicide. Discouragement and depression often result in disappointment, often result in depression. And so tonight, we just want to make sure that we give you some facts and some information. Dr. Boyd, what do you have over there that you want to add to this?
Well, I've got some powerful statistics that I think would be really informative to our listeners. And while you were reading, actually, the definition of depression, I started thinking about some ways that I actually have felt and been a part of my makeup. It takes a lot to even to admit that, because
Right.
we live in an age that, and I shared with you, we were talking before the show about the demographics. We were talking about how people feel concerning depression. I was listening to a video of some individuals who actually struggle with depression, and one of the things that really had me feeling some kind of way was when these interviewees that made the statement that they wish they had a disease that was more accepted.
Wow.
You almost are ashamed to say you're depressed.
Right.
One of them said, it would be more receptive or more accepted if they had cancer.
Wow.
And that's speaking volumes.
Yes, it is.
To say I'd rather have cancer than depression, because cancer, they went on to say that by stating the fact that they wish they had cancer, more people, they've seen people call and check on them. Is there anything I can do? Do you need anything? Because they were cancer victims. In comparison to the individual who says, I've got the disease of depression,
Right.
people shun them. People shun them. But statistics, who is affected by depression? Major depressive disorder affects approximately 14.8 million American adults, or about 6.7% of the U.S. population, age 18 or older, in any given year. While major depressive disorders can develop at any age, the median age at onset is around the age of 32 years old. And this has nothing to do, it doesn't care what side of the track you were born on or raised on.
Right.
It doesn't care about I stated earlier before we went to break, your socioeconomic background. Depression will come and find you wherever you are in life.
Right.
And so tonight we want to hit some things that it's shameful to say that even depression can be taboo as it relates to our social climate that we live in or that we came up in, and even as far to go as far as to say even in the Christian climate.
Let's talk about that. Because a lot of times people don't understand that depression can be negative or positive that causes it, because the simple fact is that a great loss, death of a loved one, losing a job, or getting a new job, moving into a new area where you don't know anybody. And I don't think people see how, if you don't know how to manage that stress, if you don't know how to manage those situations called life, right, then this is what you're seeing in today's society, that they get to a place where they don't know what to do about what's happening to them. And the more you do nothing, the more you see this evil disease. We're going to call it a disease because it's in the medical books as a disease. And so tonight, we just want to give facts. We want to shine the light on the facts of this and really be able to let people know. Someone may be listening tonight that says, wow, they really understand how I feel. Wow, maybe there's someone that I can talk to. Because a lot of times this is what happens with this disease, is that people feel like, who can I talk to about this? Right. Where can I go? Okay, I go to the medical doctor and he says, okay, let me give you some medicine on it. You have some anxiety or but I take the medicine and I still can't sleep. I take the medicine and I still feel the same way. And so tonight, we just want the listeners out there to understand that first we want to talk about, let's get to the root cause of it. What's causing it?
Well, there's some things that are considered conspirators, if you will, that depression automatically comes alongside. You've got the diagnosis of cancer or stroke, health issues, and there's a great percentile rate. Matter of fact, if you're looking for these statistics, I want to go ahead and just take an opportunity and just let you know where you can actually go get that. I'm not going to be able to quote all these statistics tonight, but feel free to visit www.dbsalliance.org, and they'll have these statistics that we'll be referring to on this evening. That's www.dbsalliance.org. But anything from strokes, from heart attacks, the doctor's diagnosis, cancer, Parkinson's disease, these things come along with, and let me just take an opportunity to personally testify. I'm a diabetic. I have stage 5 renal disease, and I'm currently on dialysis. Now, when I was first diagnosed with this, and the doctor told me that there's a possibility that I might be on dialysis, the first thing that I could see in my mind's eye was my dad, who had died from complications of dialysis. He bled to death as a result of it. And immediately when the doctor's telling me this while I'm laid up in the hospital room, I'm in my mind's eye, all I could see is me in the same state my dad was in. And so while they're trying to rush me into a place of getting this thing done, all I kept trying to tell them, I need a minute. I had shut everybody out. I wasn't taking any phone calls. I wasn't eating. My appetite had left me. All I wanted to do was sleep. And even though I was in the hospital, I didn't want to be bothered with anything or anybody. And I did not know at the time that I was struggling with depression.
Wow.
And it came as a result of a diagnosis.
Right.
A diagnosis. Finances.
Right.
You said living life on life's terms. If you can't deal with life on life's terms, life will render you a blow that will leave you almost hopeless and helpless.
True.
Thusly, the diagnosis is depressed.
Wow. Well, so when we look at this is something that we want to make sure you understand, that when we talk about the root cause, where did this begin? How did this begin? And these are some things that we want you as the listeners to ask yourself. If you think that you're suffering from this disease, suffering from this temporary, can we speak a word of life right now into your life? This temporary situation, because I'm just a firm believer that anything that we can ask of the Father, if we believe, we can receive. But here's the key word: we have to believe. And so if I can see my way out of the situation, and sometimes, we look at that life, physical things happen to us. Well, then let's talk about spiritual stuff. Let's talk about that everything is not because the devil allowed it, because the devil made me, or the devil doing this to me. What did God allow? And then the question is, why did God allow it? And only you and God can have that conversation, because a lot of times we don't understand. We get into a place because we think we're in control. We think it's all our way, or we're all in because it's the way we want to do it. And God is saying, okay, I've given you this warning. I've given you that warning. I've tried to talk to you this time. I've tried to talk. Oh, so now let me get your attention. How about that? And so when we think about that, what about the disease called depression being tied to unconfessed sin?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. What do you think about that? Because let's talk about it, because this is the kind of stuff that people want to know, because guess what? There's some Christians that are depressed. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we return, we'll talk about more.
Flow Radio Network, 24/7 around the world, nonstop. This is FlowRadioNetwork.com.
You, depression, are my childhood friend. The midnight voices in my head, a slick tongue. You pretend to have the answers, but loving you got me sick, got me suicide watched, got me blue happy pills. Find the nearest ledge, you say. Walk out, you say. Suspend, you say. Wouldn't I be happier dead yesterday? I cried enough to name myself the sad girl again. Lonely has developed an authority where my thoughts are family. Always fussing about the wrong I have done, about the pretty I burned. What I learn of sadness is from you.
And welcome back to Let's Talk About It. I'm Dr. J. West, and
I'm Dr. Rhonda Sneed.
And we're glad to have you back. We were leaving on the note dealing with depression, but I want to share this statistic with you that I found, and I found it to be interesting. Not making light of it whatsoever, but it deals with women experience depression at twice the rate of men.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Really?
I didn't write it. It's the statistic. It's right here. It's 2 to 1. It exists regardless of the racial or ethnic backgrounds. So it doesn't matter if they're white women, black women, Asian, Hispanic. If they are of the female persuasion, they are experiencing depression. And it's interesting. Do you think that is because women are more emotional than men?
No, sir. I think, Dr. Boyd, it's that men are more prideful and private, and they don't want to tell the world that they're dealing with the situation.
Oh Lord!
Let's talk about it.
No, I mean, I'm not going. I think you're right to some degree.
Amen.
We carry our feelings internally. We carry them on our shoulders to some degree. We won't express ourselves. You guys get it out.
Right, but in the defense, because I'm not going to male bash, in your defense, you were raised that way. You were the men, the home taught the young man, taught the man that you go to work, you take care of everything, whatever's going on, just deal with it. But I think that we have to get past that, because some of the things, and I'll say this, and some listeners may agree or disagree, but some of the things we were taught were not always right.
You're right.
And so it's that famous thing, whatever happens in the house stays in the house, but some of this stuff that's happening in the house needs to be exposed.
And here it is. And you're absolutely right, because I'm a proponent of that generation. Our business, that's our business.
Right.
It stays here. However, I believe, along with you, it needs to get out. Consequently, there's some cries for help that need to take place that are not taking place, because we were almost threatened that if that got out, then you'd have to deal with the consequences and repercussions.
But have you ever thought about this? They already know. You know, it's like living in a small town that says don't tell nobody, but everybody around the corner, down the corner, up the street already know. Right. But it's just been programmed that we don't talk about it outside of this house, but everybody else already know that so-and-so and so-and-so. And it kind of sounds like this. Y'all know he crazy. Y'all know something wrong with her.
Right.
You know, she kind of act funny. And so with that said, instead of saying all those things, let's go find out why she acts the way she acts, or why he's quote unquote crazy. Because at the end of the day, that was that cry. They did something to get our attention, but we stuck our head in the sand. Ain't my business. I ain't going through it. I don't have to deal with it, so you deal with it. And in this season, what is God saying about that? What is he truly saying? Because at the end of the day, when I'll say this, I teach grief classes, counseling classes, and grief is one of those things that will take people into depression. That's one of the known things, that grief, when you lose a loved one, be it if it's expected, and really when it's unexpected, it takes you for a toll to where it's turned your life upside down, and you don't know how to deal with it, and then you don't want to deal with the life without that person being in your life. And so it kind of goes like this. I'm just going through the motions. And I say this in class all the time, that I say, I need a friend to understand that if you ain't seen me in a couple of days, you need to be knocking on my door to come and check on me. I need the friend to say, I'm knocking on the door. I tell you that I'm not coming to the door. I'm not opening the door. I'm going to keep knocking until you open up this door. I'm not leaving until I know for myself that you're okay. And that's what we have to, this thing called depression, we gotta nip it in the bud. We have to let people know, I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to walk side by side. I said I'm your friend. I'm not going anywhere.
But we live in such a disconnected age.
We do.
Only in this age that we live in that you can see a person being mugged or raped or accosted on a street corner, and people keep walking by as if nothing's happened. Don't want to get too far off base. You were talking about grief. Grief deals with loss. I've lost something.
Right.
There's something that I've lost to cause me to be in this stagnant state of hopelessness that I'm in. However, what about when I've gained something? What about childbirth? What about postpartum syndrome? And that, again, I'm just trying to stay with the statistic of women.
And that's that positive cause of depression, because life is positive, but when it takes you for a toll, and for me, being a woman, that whole process takes your body through all kind of things. And so physically takes you through something. And then when it's that first child, I've never had a child before. I barely know how to take care of myself. How am I going to take care of this? We don't know what the mindset of someone when, I'm supposed to be happy, but all of a sudden, why am I feeling not so happy? Because this little person has invaded my area called space. This person, I now have something that I got to take care of, be responsible of. And so that positive cause of depression makes you look at things even more. Where is the support system? And a lot of times that's what's lacking. And here's the other piece in the defense of the support system. If I don't know, then I can't support. Right. But here's the other piece of that. If I come to support and you won't let me support. And so we got to break these barriers. We have to get to a point to where, hey, I'm your friend. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here for you. If you can't trust me, trust the God that's in me. Trust whatever caused us to be friends in the first place. And so I think that's what we have to give to individuals that are in this state, because and when I go knocking, I don't go knocking pointing the finger at you and placing blame. I go coming as humble as I know how, because it could be me. Right. And so I go with a sensitive piece of me saying, I'm here. You don't want to talk? We don't have to talk. I'll just sit with you. Yeah, like Job and his friends. There you go. Yeah. But see, his friends had a lot to say that caused him to second guess. Right. What God was doing. And he had to regroup. And, because I tell people all the time, the Bible is a story. And so when I think about, you can rewrite stories. And so when I think about what if his friends would have been the kind of friend that just came over supportive, would he would have had to go through some of that? If he would have had the friends that say, man, that God that you say you believe in, I need you to hold on to that. Right. Don't second guess and hold on to what you say you believe. And so maybe, but at the end of the day, that's what I believe that's happening, that we must go back to, is that really being that when my brother is in need, when my brother rejoices, I rejoice. Right. When my brother cries, I cry. That's what I feel. That's how I feel. And I think that we have some listeners out there that we just want to encourage you tonight to understand that you're not going through this alone, that there are people that you can turn to. And if you just can muster up enough strength to turn to that one individual. And I say that because I hear somebody in the spirit realm saying, I don't have anybody. I was about to say that if perhaps you're listening and you don't have anybody or feel that you have anybody, we want to encourage you to get professional help. Yes. You feel free to call the station and get those
and get the information that might be made available for you.
We want to give you information on suicide hotline. We want to be able to refer you to counselors. And so when you make that call, because there's someone out there tonight that is saying, I don't have anybody. And this show is not the show just to give you a bunch of nice information. We want to give you application for the information. We want you to know that we're just not doing a talk show to be doing a talk show, but we're wanting to change lives, and we want lives to be better. And when I say that, then I begin to come up with scriptures, because God's word is his word. Jeremiah 29:11 say, for I know the plans and the thoughts that I have towards you. And so I want to encourage you tonight that God has some plans. He has some thoughts, and his thoughts are good. That Isaiah 55 and around 11 says that my ways are not your ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. As high as the heavens are above are his ways and his thoughts. And so God, he intentionally called us into existence. And so tonight, we want to help you deal with this so you can be on the road of recovery, the road towards destiny, the road towards your purpose, to be able to do what God has called you to do.
Stay tuned as we'll come back and deal with this demon called depression and how to overcome it. We want to look at the medicinal aspect of it, medicines, treatment, things of that sort, the both positive and the negative, the pros and the cons as it relates to treating depression.
You tell me boys won't love me, but a fasten rope can. You tell me lupus is incurable, can't have 7 children, can't be hospitalized 3 times in 1 year and call that healing. You a contradiction, a house of lies. Sickness can do that, it can lie, it can claw. My sadness will not cease, it will not quiet, and I am afraid to die. I am afraid to die.
Do people tell you you'd be good on the radio? Do you have the gift of gab? Are you witty, intelligent, have a great sense of humor, or a compelling idea for a show? Whether you'd like to discuss the latest news, love and relationships, sports, politics, health, or religion, Flow Radio is the place for you. If you've dreamed of becoming a radio show host, there is no better time than right now to turn your dream into a reality. Join the Flow Radio team and share your knowledge and experiences with the world. Send your show idea and contact information to flowmedianet@yahoo.com. Perhaps your voice may change the world.
Greetings. I'm Lady Media Cole, host of Elevate with Lady Media Cole. I want to invite you to tune in to my show every Friday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on flowradionetwork.com.
Want to join the conversation? Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm Dr. J. West.
I'm Dr. Rhonda Sneed.
And before we went to break, we were dealing with the topic of depression, and we were coming back and going to deal with the medicinal treatment of depression. One of the things that catches my attention is I overheard the interview of a gentleman who said that the doctor, after being diagnosed, told him that there was a chemical imbalance in his brain.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I hear quite often concerning individuals who are depressed. And when the doctor told him that, they were rushing to try to put him on medication, psychotropic meds.
Okay.
And so what's your take on that, Dr. Sneed? Because at the end of the day, you know, here, let me be very clear. I have no problem. I love the Lord with all my heart. Father, I stretch my hand to thee. No other help I know. I got all that. I love him. I love him. I preach, I teach the gospel, and I believe in the supernatural, divine, miraculous power of God to come in, and he can do that.
Yes, he can.
But I believe that God also works through modern medicine as well. And I believe that he can, I have no problem with medication and with medicine. Here's the thing, that when you start telling me that there's a chemical imbalance in my brain, and you and that's what the guy said. The guy actually said, he said, give me some blood work.
Right.
Do so with the technology that we have medically.
Right.
Go ahead and take some blood. Do whatever you have to do to prove to me that there is an imbalance, and I won't argue with you.
Because what cancer patient just takes chemo without having some tests? What I mean, when you think about that, when we talk about these diseases,
right?
What doctor is going to have me, if I'm diagnosed with that disease, have me take something that has not taken me through a battery of tests to say what my body can handle and can't handle.
Right.
Same thing with, I'm in professional education. I'm in public education by day, and I deal with these individuals, these students, these children that are heavy medicated, and I got a big problem with that because I understand that some really need it,
right,
and some really don't need
right.
it. Some really need, and that's a whole nother subject. We'll come to you some months later on parenting. Some others need something else. But when it comes to this thing called medicine and dealing with certain diseases and medicine, I want them to be as thorough as they are with anything else. And that's why we go back to, like you said, Father, I stretch my hand to thee. God, you made my body. You know my body. And so that's the first doctor that I go to. And then, God, lead me to what you would have me to do. Lead me to the person, to the doctor, to the physician, so we can be on one accord. And I try to spirit by the Spirit. I don't want a doctor that just wants to just pump me up with something. I want them, why are we doing this? Let's discuss this.
Because even as it relates to kids in education, you know that they will, and especially, and here's where let's talk about it really gets the rubber meets the road. Because what they will do to our children is that they will label them as special education when they don't want to deal with them. And then they will pump them up full of Ritalin.
Okay, I'm going to make you let's talk about it. Who is our children?
Our black kids.
Okay, then.
Yeah, because, in case y'all thought I was of another persuasion. No, our African-American, our black kids, our Hispanic kids, those of ethnic background. And so they don't, and then white folk don't want to deal with them. And so when they don't want to deal with them, they will label them and stick them in a room by themselves and let them worry each other to death or whatever the case may be. Right. So I'm with you as it relates to let's go ahead and give me some medical proof. Right. That what you're saying now. Here's another. We're on a winding, curvy road tonight. Yes, we are. Because here's the thing that you really have to be, especially in the church, you got people that will not admit to something's wrong to even want to see a doctor. Ooh. To give me the proof that I need so that I can get the help that I need. Well, that goes back to I don't want anybody to know. I have a problem. I believe in God, and I told everybody that God is my everything, but I have a problem. I have an issue. And so I say this all the time, and I strongly mean it. Who are we trying to impress? Who are we trying to, what are we doing in today's society that has gotten us to a place where we care more about what somebody thinks of us than our own well-being? We'll go out trying to do and be, and God he's looking at us saying, my child, my child, my child. If you only knew I have better for you. Right. But you're so worried about it. And I think a lot of these type of things cause these individuals to get into this place. And so they get into a place and they find themselves there quicker than they realize it. And they can't come clean and say, hey, I need help. Because now I was the person that acted like I didn't need any help. And so now I'm at this place where I need the help. And so now let me run to the doctor. But then when the doctor get to throw out all this stuff about all this medicine and how it's going to make me feel, oh, wait a minute, I don't know if I need that kind of help. Right. And so that's that really winding road, because it's a fine line to have to accept that, let's talk about the other disease, blood pressure, high blood pressure. If we learn how to eat better,
we wouldn't have to be on the medicine.
You're right.
Let's just call out the truth.
You're right.
If we learn how to eat better, if we learn what to drink, exercise, how to get the proper rest, and do the things that we need to do, we wouldn't have to take some of these things. And here's the thing: the pharmaceutical people love us because they're experimenting. It's just, let's just really be real about all this stuff. The doctors don't even know how the medicine's going to react to us when it comes to depression and anything else, because all they do. The pharmaceutical rep comes in, dangles that medicine in front of that doctor, say, hey, will you give out these samples? And if it works, hey.
And then I got to diagnose or prescribe something else to counteract the side effects of what it is that I prescribed to you beginning with. So my thing is this. At the end of the day, one is that we've got to trust. We've got to put our trust and our faith in God to deliver us. We got to. However, we have to use wisdom as well concerning the doctors, because we want to be, and it's funny how we want to be intellectual and in so many areas, but then in the ones that we really need to be, use our mind, and as our old folk used to say, common sense.
Right. That's the key. Common sense.
To actually apply it to some situations that we don't just get caught up in because a white coat comes in and says, this is what the problem is. This is what you need to do, and do it just on the ground. Our old folk didn't have, some of them dropped out in the 3rd and 4th grade, but they did not take it just because somebody said it.
No. And I'm still a firm believer of that. I have a doctor to this day. I love him dearly. And he's my medical doctor, been my doctor for years and years and years. I self-diagnose before I go in there, because I'm like, I'm going to tell him how I'm feeling, and then we're going to be on the same page. But we've gotten that relationship that he knows you just can't tell me anything. Right. And that's how, and I guess what I'm saying is that, no, I am Dr. Rhonda Sneed. I'm not an MD doctor.
But you know
But I know me.
Yes.
And when you and here's the other piece of this evil disease. Part of getting to the state of depression is that you don't know who you are. You don't know whose you are. And so tonight, we just want to really implore you to understand it's time to figure out, and it's time to seek the one that created you to know who you are and whose you are. So then when you go into the situation of having to be told that you've been diagnosed with depression and that you need medication, you can say, my body reacts to this, and this is how I feel, and this is what I'm going on. And then that way, you and the doctor can have a common sense conversation. Not so much as he telling you what to do and you do it, and it's a trial by error. Because I'm sorry, I'm not willing to be a specimen. I'm not willing to be, and I think
a guinea pig.
That's it. And I think with this is that a lot of people find themselves where they're tired. And so they just, I've done, but I'm going to say it like my grandmother would say, but have you tried Jesus? I got to go there, because this is the one thing that I don't think that people understand. No, we're not. Let's talk about it. It's going to really be some factual and real life things. But at the end of the day, the basis of what we're doing for this radio show is to let you know that there's a God that loves you. There's a God that's concerned about you. And at the end of the day, when you don't have anybody else to turn to or anything else to turn to, and you've tried everything else, what about trying Jesus? Because literally Deuteronomy 31:8 reads, the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. And so on tonight, that's what I want to leave everybody with on tonight, that we're at a place, and we just skated on the surface of this disease.
Absolutely.
But I believe that our hearts are in the right place, that we want to leave you with information. And so tonight, if you've heard something, if there was some information that was given out that you didn't have a chance to get a pen and piece of paper to write it down, we want you to be able to go to flowradionetwork.com and to literally go to the resource page, and there we will have all this information out there for you to have. We don't want you to leave and tune out of this radio show and not get what God intended for you to get. Now, here's what I'm saying. Know that you know that you've had a talk with Jesus, and that you've tried him. So on tonight, we're so grateful that you tuned in to Let's Talk About It with Dr. Rhonda Sneed
and Dr. J. West.
Until next week.
Be blessed.
My sadness will not cease. It will not quiet. And I am afraid to die. I am afraid to die. Depression is a house of teeth. It will write you into a story without rest. It will kin you. Comb your mouth into a beautiful haunting and name it a vacant wilderness. But dare yourself, extraordinary human, to run into joy screaming, you cannot have me. You cannot have me. I am not my past. I am worthy of love. I am worthy. I am forgiving myself for not being strong enough to believe in myself. I can tell you, I do not know who my father is. I can tell you, a best friend's father molested me. I can tell you the number of men I let crawl into my body, but I would rather tell you I am letting go. I am letting failure go. I am letting loneliness go. I will not give up. You will not silence me. Sincerely.
Flow Radio Network, 24/7 around the world, non-stop. This is FlowRadioNetwork.com.